God bless America. That really was not a sentence I ever thought I would say. That whole bit was regrettable. But anyway, that's not what we're here to talk about. Again, apologies for being about as inconsistent as bloody, I don't know. I don't even know, right? I'm not even sure what anymore, right? But anyway, regardless, right? Welcome to the video today, and let's just chat a wee bit of football that might have happened on this lovely, maybe not as so lovely weather-wise, but lovely when it comes to feeling. On this April Sunday afternoon, and let's just talk about an Old Firm game, shall we? So, Rangers 1, Celtic 2, the final score. Ibrox today, and what a game it was. It didn't start well though. Good Christ! I mean, Celtic ended up winning the game to go 6 points clear of Rangers with just a handful of games left to play, and to move another step closer to regaining the title that we lost last season. But I mean, the start of the match, good Christ, we almost couldn't look further away. The first few minutes of the game was an absolute shambles. Aaron Ramsey scoring for Rangers on his Old Firm debut. At least I think. I don't think he was actually playing at Parkhead. Correct me if I'm wrong, Rangers fan. But even then, it wouldn't have even made a difference on that day because, well, we all know what did happen there. But ultimately, right, he scores. It's 1-0 after 3 minutes. Celtic look all over the place after the first 3 or 4 or 5 minutes, and you immediately think to yourself, oh good Christ, like, title is back on now. It'll be level on points after this, and if we continue to defend like this could be another hammering like we got at Ibrox last season, or like what we did to them at Parkhead. But what we got instead was an instant response. Now, in my head, I was immediately thinking, this will either be 3-0 to Rangers at half-time, or it'll be 1 each at half-time. Right? None of which ended up happening. Spoiler alert. But basically, Tom Rogic, Wizard of Oz, he loves these games. He steps up, he scores an equaliser with a half volley after Rio Hatati's effort was originally saved. And then it's 1 each. It was 100-mile-an-hour start, like good credit. Imagine if you'd gone for a shit before the match, and then you just missed both the opening goals. And you couldn't take your eyes off the screen for the first bit of the game because it was end-to-end stuff that whole first half, and it ultimately culminated into some fouls, some cards, some missed chances for both sets of teams, and. But then ultimately, in around the 42nd minute, Jota whips in a free kick. Alright, it's a bit of a scramble. It comes to a loose ball, and then Cameron Carter-Vickers, which ultimately explains that whole start of the game. But he's there to capitalise from the loose ball, and it's 2-1. And I mean, look, I'd have been happy if we had just got into half-time with it being 1 each. But to go into half-time 2-1 up, offer that after 3 minutes and we're laughing in your face. But, yeah, second half was a bit more cagey, a lot of defensive work, which, by the way, the defensive work today from Celtic was just phenomenal. I mean, Greg Taylor had easily his best game in a Celtic shirt. Starfelt and Carter-Vickers were both very solid in defence today, and like every time Rangers got in the box to look to create something, you're always met with Starfelt, Carter-Vickers, and you know they were just again phenomenal in defence. You can't say enough about those two. Greg Taylor, I don't think enough people have been talking about him as one of the man of the matches, but I mean, Carter Vickers, he's up there as well. Tom Rogic, rightfully so, is talked about as a man of the match because in that first half he was superb. Carter Vickers was also really good all game, but Greg Taylor, he put in a shift. Before he got subbed off, he put in a shift. Easily his best game that I've seen from him in a Celtic shirt, at least for a long while anyway. But yeah, it was it was ultimately, that was pretty much the long and the short of it. I mean, Joe Hart, by the way, right? I mean, ultimately the game was met with a bit of distaste, let's say, because as we just talked about Joe Hart, a glass bottle was thrown into his penalty. I mean, a glass bottle at a football match. Thing is, right, what's scary about this, right? That glass bottle was probably already broken when it got into the stadium, because of the whole surface, right, with the grass, right. Yes, it would have still probably broke if it was intact when it was thrown, but I think the fact there was so many shards of it across different areas of it, part of me thinks it might have actually been broken when it was thrown. Because especially I think with the actual pace, because it's a glass bottle, looked like a bottle of Buckfast. Those things are actually quite heavy. Don't ask me how I know that, but so I think the pace of it, I don't know if it would have completely shattered on the actual ground with the grass, with the pace of it, the actual surface, and but it's just bad. There's also a plastic cup you could see getting chucked on the pitch or something like that, right as Jota was about to take a corner. I mean, there's no need for it. It's a goddamn football match. You can be slightly pissed off that your team is losing, especially after you score after 3 goddamn minutes. But that's too far. But yeah, and good luck to anyone who's trying to walk the streets of Glasgow after that. But back to Joe Hart in a good way, right? Made the only real save he really needed to make in the 75th minute. I think it might have been Fashion or someone, I can't remember who it was actually took the shot, but Joe Hart was down, strong left hand. I think the flag then went up after that for, I think it was Kemar Roof, but still, I mean, Joe Hart, I mean, he's been brilliant since, everyone's been brilliant since they signed pretty much. Kyogo wasn't playing, but I mean, he's been phenomenal since then. Jota, George Michael's clone, he's just as good, he's better than George Michael. He's an absolute, I mean, he didn't have his best game today, but he has been some signing for us, as is Giacomakis and Hatate, and just about everyone that's actually joined the club since the start of the season. But back to it. The result was just huge. I mean, Celtic now 6 points clear at the top of the table. Chris Boyd saying on Sky Sports after the match, he's conceded that the title is done in his eyes. Which he actually said it. It's finished now. I'm aware things could still turn. I mean, it's stranger things have happened, as they've said. We've seen. I mean, look at Manchester City down in England just this season. They were 14 points clear or something mad like that in January. Here we are in April, and Liverpool are right on their heels again. So it is possible for Rangers to close the gap still, but you'd like to feel like with the fact there's only one more derby to go in the season, which is going to be at Parkhead, and all the other fixtures in the split. There's not that many games left. You'd like to think surely now that Celtic will do enough to get over the line. I can't see this team collapsing because they've been so good since October, really. I mean, I think it's 26 matches in the league unbeaten or something mad like that. So, what more can you say? I think it was only 6 or 8 points that have been dropped since October or late September. Something just since that defeat at Livingston back in September, this team has just been phenomenal. Absolutely. And Ange Postecoglou, let's just say he's not exactly doing a bad job for a manager who is meant to be sacked at Christmas. But anyway, that's the end of the video, and just a quick one, just discussing the Old Firm. Let me know, Celtic fans and Rangers fans, or just anyone else actually watched the game. What did you think of the match? And are Celtic now officially going to win the league? Yes, we bloody are. But aye, that's it. And as always, I'll see you in the next video, whenever that may be. Knowing me, probably won't be out until next April.